Everybody, welcome to the Art of Reading Smoke with Phil Jose. I'm Phil Jose. Hoping to get started here. Hey, I just did this broadcast for those of you who tried to tune in. I didn't have the volume going, so I'm hoping my volume's working now. And if you happen to tune in, and if you get the chance, if you could just tell me in the chat how we're doing. I got the chat going down here, so if the voice isn't coming through, let me know. So. We're going to start again. Hey, this is the Art of Reading Smoke, Phil Jose. I'm Phil Jose. And we're going to be first in here to this fire. And I don't know if this will qualify as a row house, right? This is a duplex. Certainly they're side by side. But we got obviously a fire on 4-3, right? So we're looking at volume, velocity, density, color, and we're doing that in order to understand what's going on with the fire, where it is, where it's going, and then what we're going to do about it. Now on the reading smoke side, it's really where it is and where it's going, and then what we're going to do about it is sort of tactical decision making. And I do have that class as well, and so they definitely feed into each other. And today we're going to talk about not just the impact of the reading smoke and what we can understand, but how we can translate that into the strategic tactical and task level decisions that you need to make when you're arriving on scene. Okay, let me hit the volume here because this is a pretty loud video, and the link is of course in the post here. So if you can go to the original video and watch the whole thing if you want to see what the bystanders are saying, that sort of thing. All right, so as we pull in, lots of turbulent thick black smoke, but I want to draw your attention to down here. There's no smoke coming out from the cracks and seams around these windows on the left hand side. It gets pretty shaky here for a bit, but keep your eye on those windows there. And you'll notice that there's no smoke coming out of those windows. All right. And so my expectation is, right, that this is a fire on 4-3, that since it's both Charlie and Alpha, that there's a significant fire working there on 4-3. And because there's no smoke coming out of these windows, there's two possibilities. And what I think it is that the fire started on floor 3. It's possible this fire started, now it didn't start in this room and extend up, but it could have started in Charlie's side room and extended up. If that were the case, I would still expect there to be some smoke coming out of these windows. So from what I have going on up here in combination with this, my expectation is that the fire started on 4-3. It's primarily on 4-3. And so how does that translate? Well, I don't expect there to be much smoke on floor 2. And it's not just because there's no smoke coming out of these windows. It's also because if we look at this window up here, and I expect this Charlie to be the same, obviously it'd be good to be able to pop down this Bravo side and take a look. There is really no Delta side here because these two buildings are connected. And so one of the other thing we want to look here is this is 100% exhaust, right? This window is 100% exhaust. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the fire is getting whatever the space is where this fire is, it's getting its air from somewhere, right? It's getting its air from somewhere. If this was a closed off space, then for a fire this big, the only way it could get its oxygen, right, would be to pull air in through the window. So then we'd see a bidirectional flow at the window, right? And so I expect with this much fire, it'd be about a 1/3, 2/3, maybe just a little less than a third. Say it's a 4-foot window, you're talking about basically a foot of air going in, 2 feet of air with smoke going out, right? And so you'd see a bidirectional flow, but because it's 100% exhaust and this is a really significant fire, there's a good air supply getting to this thing from somewhere. And most likely, right, the most likely situation is that anything down here is acting as intake, right? It's drawing in, going up the stairwell to floor 3 and feeding that fire. Probably if there's a door on the stairwell from floor 2 to floor 3, that door is probably open, right? That would be my expectation of when I went in there. Right, so we can play this a little more to get you to see that's 100% exhaust. There's no smoke coming out down here, and it is basically the same thing back on the Charlie side, right? So significant fire, there's so much fire. I mean, look how much fuel this is, right? So smoke is fuel. There's a lot of turbulent, thick black smoke in addition to all of this flame coming out, right? The flame is consuming some of that fuel, but there's so much fuel that there's lots of turbulent, thick black smoke left over. Okay, so 100% exhaust, nothing coming out, and my expectation is the floor 1 is going to be 100% clear, and the floor 2, if there's any smoke, it's really high, laminar thin, probably in the white gray, but I'd say there's a really good possibility right here there's no smoke on floor 2. Well, what does that mean? So translate that into tactical decision making. Well, this is a tough stretch. To get up to 3, it's going to be, it's probably a reasonably tough stretch. Now, the stairways might be stacked where you go in, up, around, up, right? It might be that. If this was a neighborhood that I worked in on a regular basis, I'd have a really good understanding of where the stairwells are. And I think I could figure it out pretty quickly. But I'm just not sure. But even if it's a straight run around, another straight run to get up to 3, that's a reasonably complex operation. And what I would do when I was still doing the job is try to get that stretch as close to dry as I can. Why? Well, because it's quicker, right? If I stretch it outside the building and then I have to pull charge line up the stairwell all the way around and then up the next stairwell, start impacting the fire, and then I want enough working line to get up into the attic. That's a lot of work to move that much charge hose. But if I can get up on a 2, right? So let's say it is a stacked stairwell. Well, I'm stairwell, go up, and then I go around, and then I go up the next stairwell, and then that's where the fire is. What I'm thinking is I can stretch dry for sure to floor 2, and then depending on the conditions on that stairwell to floor 3, what I can do, well, 1, if there's a door there, I could close it. But the other thing I could do, if it's open, is even get the nozzle and some flakes on that stairwell and stretched out straight, and then make my call for water. Because as soon as the water's hitting the nozzle and I can point that nozzle up the stairs, I can start having a positive impact on this fire. Right now, that's my expectation. Like I said, my expectation is I'm going to go in there. There's going to be little or no, probably no smoke on floor 2. I want to get, as soon as there's any smoke, I want to be masked up. I might even be masked up outside here because the amount of time this is going to take is less than 1 cylinder's worth of air, right? So there's no reason to try to conserve 10 or 15 seconds of air. What's necessary is to get combat ready as fast as possible with the line in position and the line open and water flowing into this space. That's my task level objective. Right, to meet the strategic level objective of life safety, right? Now, if I get in there, as soon as I go through the door, there's smoke on floor 2. Whoa, right? That's not what I thought would happen. What probably happened then? Probably there's a fire somewhere on the Charlie side on floor 2 that's extended to floor 3. Now that still, I'm going to stretch the line, I'm going to charge the line, I'm going to fight fire, but I probably would want to let somebody outside know, whoever's in command right now, that the fire is actually on floor 2. It's not up on floor 3, right? I also know that I'm going to be in for more of the firefight, right? I have to stop this fire on floor 2 before I can advance up to 3. That's going to be a more significant firefight than if I can stretch dry right to the stairwell and then get up into the attic, or into floor 3 in this case. And so all of those things, right, is understanding that we're right back to the front end. Volume, velocity, density, color, right? Understand what's going on with the fire. Then compare that to the building. Understand how the building is influencing this fire behavior, where the fire is, where it's going, and then the tactical decision piece is, what am I going to do about it, right? And so having these expectations of what the conditions are going to be like, there's always a reality. So you have your expectations and your reality. Those should be in alignment. Right, the expectations that you build from your reading smoke, and then the reality of what happens when you go through the door. Most of the time, those are in alignment with each other. And one of the really, I think, powerful things that reading smoke can do for you is help you build really good expectations. And the better you are at building expectations, the more often they're going to be in alignment with reality. But the other piece that is when reality is not in line with what you think should or did or would happen, you have to pay, that's when you have to pay extra attention, right? You should get your attention and you should go, okay, what is happening? What I thought was happening is not what's actually happening. What is happening? And then quickly as you can, figure out how to solve that problem, right? And so that having that sort of awareness once you go through the door is a really powerful tool for being really effective at meeting the mission, getting the water on the fire and getting the fire under control in order to protect the citizens that you're sworn to protect, right? I mean, that's the mission, right? Getting that water on that fire is the mission. Now, we could have a discussion like this about ventilation. I'm going to offer in this situation here as it exists right now, I'd be, even if I wanted to go vertical here, I think you'd be hard pressed to get vertical ventilation before a good, efficient, well-trained, well-schooled, practical engine company can get water up on this fire. I'm not saying it's not necessary. I'm saying I think you'd be hard pressed to do it as fast as they can get the engine get the line up there. Right, that's all tactical decision making, which is, like I said, that's a separate class, but I teach both classes. And here today in this example, one is just understanding I want to get the reading smoke stuff, which is what the page is here for, is for the art of reading smoke, right? But to make sure that everybody understands it, it's not a skill in isolation. It's a skill in combination with your understanding of building construction, the amount of time you spend stretching hose, how familiar you are with the houses and the buildings in your district, right? So that when you look at these things, you just know what's going on inside of them. Your ability to force doors, your ability to put up ladders, your ability to communicate, your ability to listen when things are going on. All of these are part of the skill set that's necessary for the craft of firefighting. And certainly reading smoke helps you be good at the craft of firefighting. And that's why the page is here. That's why I'm here. And that's why I'm teaching classes. A bunch of classes coming in January. For the art of reading smoke, we'll be in Bridgehampton. I'll be in Bridgehampton, New York. I'll be in for the Western Massachusetts Fire Chiefs Association in the Springfield, Massachusetts area. Looking for the registration there. I'll be in Anoka, Minnesota. That registration link is in this post, along with a link to the video for this fire if you want to go see the whole thing. Right? If you want to go see the whole thing. Do that. Thanks for being part of the Reading Smoke Nation. Thanks for all the support. This last year's really been great. I'm looking forward to a great 2024. And let me know if you want to schedule a class. And with that, for the Art of Reading Smoke with Phil Jose, I'm Phil Jose, and I'm out.